promising students, bright scholars, are unemployed. Many of them die very painful deaths. This is what we want to change. The democracy I'm describing, the ones I am saying you should foster in the 21st century, should ensure that these students get employed, get paid based on merit. If I didn't know what I was talking about, I wouldn't be here today. I looked at the environment in 2021, 2022, and I'm already locked outside the country. I analyzed these people. I looked at Ruto, I looked at Raila, I looked at Uhuru. I said, no. The only way I go back to Kenya, I defeat Uhuru and Raila together, then I will be back in the country. And we did active part in the political process. I believe they would have won. And I would have been locked out of Kenya for good. I would have died abroad without coming back to my country. So no matter how little you are, no matter the modest abilities you have, it all adds up. Secondly, when you are in exile, forced exile, not self-exile, there is a difference. I did not run into exile. I did not cross the Ugandan border or Tanzanian border or Somali border. I did not board a flight and say I've run away. I was forced out of this country twice. One of them while I was unconscious. Did I keep quiet? You know, I think my evidence is self-evident. I did not keep quiet when I was at the airport when they tried to push me away. I did not keep quiet when I reached Amsterdam or when they dumped me in Dubai and I was unconscious. The moment I regained consciousness, I spoke. And I've spoken every single day for 5 years. Who has ever done that in this country? Just mention one. Mention one person in the entire world who was sedated from his country of birth, put in a plane unconscious, dumped in a foreign airport, and the moment he regained consciousness, he said, I want to go back where I was sedated. Who? There is none. And this is a historical fact. So it is always good when you're asking questions to be correct. Factually correct. Because I am famous for deconstructing untruths. I have a PhD in deconstruction. All right? Yes. So I never kept quiet. I have never kept quiet, and I will never keep quiet. But it doesn't mean that I must say what you want. I will say what I want. Like Bantu Steve Biko wrote before he was assassinated in South Africa. I write what I like. I have a freedom of conscience, a freedom of thought, and freedom of expression. I will enjoy them robustly. As you have seen, I'm not the caricatures they show you on TV. When you compare the TV caricatures they have shown you and the real man, it's not the same. I think through what I say. I don't talk anyhow. So, the direction we are going, in my view, is positive. In my view. And I can only express my view. You can express yours, I can only express mine. Why do I say that? Politically, vigorous campaigns happened last year. Everyone, more or less, except me, was allowed to register as a voter, campaign vigorously, run for office. I was not allowed because I was locked out, but I voted. After the vote, the IEC counted the votes and announced the results. If you disagree with the results, you may go to court, which some people did, and if you do go to court, you must accept the results from the court. If you don't go to court, and that is your choice, in 2017, I did not go to court. I formed the National Resistance Movement. I made a choice, right? And I led the boycotts, had the people's assemblies, and wanted to bring down Uhuru Kenyatta. He was so scared, he called his men and locked me out of the country. That's a weakness, not a strength. Because he could have faced me. I was unarmed, just one person speaking. You don't have to lock me out of the country. Bring it on. Let's debate. Let's convince Kenyans who is right and who is wrong. He knew I was right. So the only way is to lock you out of the country. I think history will be the judge. Okay? As Castro said, history shall absolve me. I say it is positive because these people went to court. The court presided over the case. The Supreme Court had a unanimous decision. There was no dissent. It would require incredulity for anybody to say that all these Supreme Court judges were somehow remotely through osmosis, hijacked, abducted, then somebody wrote their judgment and proclaimed the results. Or that they were complete idiots. We know that they are not. Right? It would also be quite remarkable for someone to say, but all these people were bribed. So ask the question, and this is a logical question. So assuming that Ruto bribed all the Supreme Court judges, assuming that is true, ask the question, why couldn't Uhuru do the same? Why couldn't Raila do the same? Who was in charge of the treasury at the time? Who had more? The man who controlled the treasury or another person who had fallen out with the control of treasury? Certainly the man with the treasury, isn't it? So why couldn't he give them more so that they could declare Odinga president? So you can see the logic falls there. They say, oh, Ruto had a lot of money to distribute. How? How old is Ruto? Who is his father? How much did they earn or have when he was born? How much did he inherit? Even if he is an Olympian thief, which they allege he is, can you compare it to the Kenyatta and Moi plutocracy? Really, can you? No. So therefore, that logic falls on his face. So I have to say, we are on the right trajectory because politically, the transition happened notwithstanding the shenanigans of those in power, which means the people can dictate who their leaders will be. Because if you could defeat a sitting president and a former prime minister with the deep state, with everything else, with the instruments of power, with all the billionaires from Mount Kenya region supporting them, and the propaganda from the media, then it means the people have power. That is encouraging. It means in politics, money does not win. Weapons do not win. Ruto was the only deputy president I'm aware of, other than Miguna the civilian, who was stopped from flying where he wanted to go. He wanted to go just to Uganda. Wasn't he stopped from going? Yes. So if a man cannot even fly to Uganda, how could he compromise the entire Supreme Court? Ask yourself the question. When the Supreme Court was sequestered to look at the evidence and make a decision, who was guarding them? The police and the military. Who was their head? Uhuru Kenyatta was the commander-in-chief. So who could reach them? Was it Ruto or Uhuru Kenyatta? Who had control over all the Safaricom lines, Airtel lines, all the WhatsApp and everything else? NIS. Who was in charge of NIS? Uhuru Kenyatta. Let nobody deceive you. So, fear is not in my DNA. It's completely absent. I don't fear anybody or anything. I have already resolved the issue of death. I did. So when these people come, they don't find a fearful man. I just wait for them and say, what do you want? They tell me, oh, get into the car. So I get into the car. I don't ask them where. I don't care where. And I don't care for how long. And I don't care, will I be released? Will I be killed? That's their problem. And I tell them, it's your problem. I was telling them even in detention, I really don't care how long you keep me here or what you do. What I know is that whatever you want me to do or say, I will not do or say. So you give up. Don't ask the question, because you will not get the answer you want. They brought things to sign. I say, I will not sign anything unless you actually sign it for me. Physically force my hand, which will not be a signature. It will be a chicken scroll. So really, when you are dealing with somebody who does not fear you, you know you are confused. That is how come they could take me to court. I don't fear Uhuru Kenyatta. I don't fear William Ruto. I don't fear Raila Odinga. I don't fear power. I don't fear wealth. I don't worship them. I don't kneel before anyone, and will never do. You see? They say that is arrogance. Well, that is good arrogance. Fortunately for me, I earn my living using my brain. I don't have to beg anybody. You know, it is beautiful when you don't have to beg anybody to earn a living. I don't have to do anything for anybody to earn a living. I just have to be able to show that I'm capable of doing work. That's it. So I can work in any country of the world and will earn a living comfortably. I will be paid comfortably in any part of the world because I am confident in my abilities and I have proven myself. If many of you did what I do, there is not enough space to jail you. There is not enough jails or policemen or prison officers to guard over you. You are 50 million as Kenyans. So nobody can jail 50 million people. You can't even jail 250,000. You know the entire armed forces is 250,000. Right? So look at that, 250 versus 45 or 49 million. It's impractical, it is impossible. So which means the only solution is to stop your fear. For those who are men here, be a man. For those who are women, be a real woman. Should we vote when our votes don't count? Who says your vote doesn't count? I'll give you an example. Meru County. Who is the governor? Kawira Mwangaza, right? woman, an independent candidate. Who did she defeat? Kiraitu Burungi. Is that not power? He has been in government for a long time, but he resisted. There was a time he ran into exile also, right? If you guys remember, or maybe you had not been conceived, but at least you read history. Kiraitu Burungi has been in power or in government forever. Lituri was in UDA, which formed the government. Did she win or not? Did they go to Supreme Court or High Court to challenge the election? So how can you say votes don't count? Just right here in May, votes count. It is the only thing in the democratic electoral process that counts. And if you do and participate in elections, you will realize the only way to bring change peacefully in elections and in a political process is through voting. So register all of you and vote. Vote for whoever you want, right? But if you are wise and you are intelligent, you will organize yourselves and vote as a bloc for whoever you want, the person who represents your aspirations and hopes. And that is change. That is all what we are asking for. History teaches us that fascism cannot last for a long time. And what you need to do is resist. Somebody said that I swore in the people's president. Then I was against the people's president. He made a comment, which I will respond to. Yes, I did. Very, very proudly. Very proudly. I still stand with what I did because it was the right thing to do. Because he had won an election. Because Uhuru had stolen one. I knew from analyzing the data. I was a candidate in that election. I was not supporting Raila Odinga. I had actually voted for Uhuru. But unlike you, again, I don't believe that if I support you, I give you authority to kill anyone. I don't believe that if I support you, I give you authority to steal elections. I don't believe that if I support you, I give you permission to suppress the country on my behalf. I simply express an opinion that between these candidates, I support this one. That does not give somebody power over me, that no, you can never ever oppose me afterwards. No. The moment you do things that I believe are illegal, unconstitutional, and wrong, I will oppose you on the spot. Because you did not capture my brain and make me your slave. Because I supported you. And that applies to me. I do not say because you support me, you must support me to perpetuity. Those who studied law knows there is something called the principle against perpetuity. The law does not allow perpetuity. The law actually says perpetuity is wrong. Perpetuity must be terminated. So I don't believe in it. The same thing. So I resisted Uhuru Kenyatta. But again, the fact that I said Raila won and swore amen did not give him permission in perpetuity to do anything wrong. But he did. He betrayed me first of all. He's the one who did. I didn't betray him. He betrayed me, went behind my back, organized a deal with Uhuru Kenyatta, was paid money, and started singing Hosanna to tyranny. He started praising Uhuru like Uhuru is the next sliced bread. And said he was going to follow Uhuru's footsteps. This is the man that was dumping bodies in River Yala. This is the same man that presided over Sando's death. This is the same man that killed Baby Pen. This is the same man that has done so many bad things. And you, who support us, these things happen to is cheering him. That I cannot support. So I told him no. Now, so who turned against whom? I remained exactly where I was. I resisted Uhuru throughout until we defeated him on August 9, 2022. Didn't I? Who ran away from the resistance? It was the coward at Kapuchi Park today. It wasn't me. And had he done what I did, he would be president today. What a fool. He left all his supporters. He betrayed all of them. He did not even say, I want electoral justice, open the IB servers. He could have demanded it as part of the BBI, as part of the handshake. He could have said, Uhuru, I'm supporting you now. Open the servers. Let me see what happened. Make sure the IBC is reconstituted before elections are called for 2022. Did he ask for that? Did he say during that time that Chebukati must go so that when we come to new elections, a new chair is in? No. He said, because of deep state is supporting me and the system, I'm going to be president whether I win or not. And I told him, my friend, you're a fool. There is no system and deep state that is going to turn 20 million votes into 100. The votes will be the votes. In 2014, I will recall, and let me just remind you quickly. 2013, 2014, this electronic voting system was brought by ODM and Raila Odinga. I think many of you do not know that. It was brought by them. Against Kibaki wanted manual. Martha Karua wanted manual. They all wanted manual. And Raila said, computers will not break down. Nobody will hack the system. We want electronic voting. And I told them, are you crazy? Votes are counted physically. They are not counted by machines. Elections are announced at the polling stations. They are not announced in Nairobi. So what are you fighting for? Like this is crazy. I can sit in Beijing and hack into the IBC. But you don't want, he's arguing that he will make the system tamper-proof. And I told him, no, you're crazy. But they said Miguna was crazy. So who is crazy now when you see what happened? Was it me in 2013, 2014 telling them that they should have a manual system, or them insisting on electronic? Because now they are saying it was hacked. But I don't know some Venezuelans. But the Venezuelans were arrested and their gadgets were taken by the DCI. So I don't know how these so-called Venezuelans got into the system. The point is this. The swearing of the people's president was correct. The court said the same. They told everybody, Miguna was right to swear in. There was nothing illegal there. And I listened to the court. They know, I know. As a lawyer, I can commission any oath I want. As long as you say, I, Abdi Jose, swear that this is true. I say, so help you God? Yes? Okay, sign. And that's what I did. I'm not the one swearing. He's the one swearing. Isn't it? So they knew that if they took me to court, I would call Raila and say, my friend, who took the oath? Was it Miguna or you? Who wanted to be president? Was it Miguna or Raila Odinga? Who filed for 2017 presidential election? Was Miguna on the ballot or Raila Odinga? Case finished. Instead of facing me with those three questions, they shipped me off to Canada. And today I can tour Meru, and yesterday I was in Taita Taveta while he's crying at Urupa. The next question, what is the assurance that what was done to me will not happen again? There is no assurance in life. If you want insurance, you go to heaven. And I'm not ready to go there. So I'm not going to give anybody any assurance. What I know, however, is that if you're fearless and you stand for the truth, even God protects you. And God did. I'm alive, I'm speaking from here. The reason I would not accept the position of CAS by the president, I think if you listen to me carefully, I give the reason. This is when I was interviewed by a gay of NTV. This is what I say, and I repeat it and I maintain it. I don't change my position if I'm right. There is no CAS position under the current constitution. So we start there. Those positions were created by Uhuru Kenyatta illegally. Okay? And I don't support any illegalities, regardless of who is perpetuating them. So they are illegal positions. So that's number one. Number two, the court has pronounced itself. The matter went to court, it was litigated, it was argued thoroughly, and the High Court said these positions are illegal. Then it was appealed to the Court of Appeal. The Court of Appeal, thinking like Miguna, sat on the case up to today. They have sat on the case. So they're still illegal positions. Why should I accept something that the court has pronounced is illegal and I believe is illegal? It would be hypocritical on my part, and I'm not a hypocrite. All right? So that's the answer. That is why I am correct in analyzing politics. I have never been wrong on this. In 2007, I was right. I supported Raila Odinga, and he won. Everybody knows that. Even Kibaki knew. He accepted that Raila won. That is how come he agreed to a coalition government. Why would you have a coalition government if you won legitimately? It was not done because 1,000 people had died. That's wrong. That's false. Kibaki got himself sworn in at night when he knew he had lost an election. So I was right in 2007. I was right again in 2017. Except that my candidate turned into a despot. I voted for Uhuru Kenyatta, he won. I mean, if he lost, we want to see how he became president, right? In 2017, I said Uhuru lost and Raila won. Did he go handshake? If I was right, if I was wrong, why did Uhuru handshake Raila Odinga behind my back? Because he knew he was a legitimate president. In 2022, I supported Ruto. He won. So therefore, Miguna is always right. I mean, I've proved it. I've proved it. I'm the only one who has proved it. These people have not proved it. When I have said something is wrong, it has actually come to be that it is wrong. I'm not God. But on this, I'm right. Healthy person, right? They did not defeat me, they did not weaken me, they did not do anything. As a matter of fact, they are walking shamed, completely dishonorable. The other day I went to Karim Country Club and I met a puffy man called Matiang'i. He came like this. And so he's greeting me. So I asked him, "You're still alive?" He said, "Yes, I'm not dead." But he looked dead, spiritual. Emotionally, he was dead. He was empty. His eyes were empty. He was going to play golf at 11. I had my tea and was walking majestically. But him, it's like he has to find something to do. Now he finds his life is empty with all the billions he stole and all the people he killed. He can't show his face like I can show my face here, but yet he cannot come here and lecture anybody. So who has won? Who has won? General. In the long end, what will history write about him? Will the country remember him as a hero or a villain, a bad man or a good man, compared to me? If history remembers him, it will be a tiny footnote written in red. There lived a puffy despot called Matiang'i. Right? I don't think history will say the same thing about me. So anyway, let me go there now. I mean, I'm a living example of those that have actually sought and got justice through the Kenyan legal system. I went to the judiciary and I said, look at what I say, and people thought were ridiculous. But yet he said, Miguna is not a Kenyan. So I say, I'm a Kenyan, I want him to prove that I am not. And he was not able to prove I'm not a Kenyan. I won that one. He said, Miguna lost his citizenship when he went to Canada. I said, nobody can lose citizenship by birth unless they renounce it. And I did not renounce mine. Let me tell us how I lost it without renunciation. He couldn't prove. I won. He said, the National Resistance Movement is a terrorist organization. I said it is not, and I want him to prove that we are terrorists. He was not able to prove. I won. He said, the National Resistance Movement must be banned. I said, it cannot be banned. And the court agreed. They said, it cannot be banned. He said, oh, Miguna cannot get a passport because the first one he got through, he was given wrongly or wrongfully. I said, okay, so who gave him? The Department of Immigration, right? Or is it, whatever department it is? It was given by a government department. I applied for it. I paid. I was issued a passport. Like everybody else. I have a right to a passport. Let him tell us how it was given illegally. They said, oh, Tino Kajwang just gave you because you are in ODM. As he says that, Raila is his principal and Raila is the head of ODM. So I said, tell Raila to tell me how Tino Kajwang gave me this thing illegally. They couldn't prove that. I won that one. In fact, the court even told them, you cannot even charge him. I can't even be charged for all these things. Then they say, oh, the swearing in of Raila Odinga was illegal or whatever. I said, no, it was perfectly legal. The court said it was. I won. So, how do you call that not getting justice? Because the only thing I have not gotten is that I am yet to be paid for the orders that I got. But you see, that does not bother me. Because I have children. And even if I'm not paid in life, they will get my payment at some point. So still I will be paid. Whether I'm paid tomorrow, whether I'm paid next week, whether I'm paid next year, does not bother me. I have a valid court order that I can collect on. So that should not bother anybody. The wheels of justice move slowly, but eventually they do. When Moi victimized me in 1987. When I came back to Kenya in 2007, I sued. I got my order, I got paid. You see, the thing is, I don't give up. I don't give up. So for those who give up, you will not get justice. For those who don't give up, you will get justice. So don't give up. Now, people have all manner of things they say about the judiciary. To tell you the truth, frankly, regardless of everything else that people have said about the judges and what, it is the only institution in the Republic of Kenya that has been more loyal to the Constitution and has delivered. We've seen cases go to the Supreme Court, the petition, they have rendered judgment. You can disagree with the judgment. But but they render them within the time prescribed in the Constitution. And they issue judgments. When they rendered the unanimous decision, people were shocked because the Supreme Court President, Koome, and the head of the judiciary was put there by Uhuru Kenyatta. And Uhuru Kenyatta put her there because he felt that he could control that when there is a contentious election coming in 2022, that would be his trump card. He did that with the BBI, he did that with the election. Did Koome vote for him or not? She never did. And I told people during the BBI, when everything else is said and done, a judge remembers, what is my legacy? Every judge remembers. Do I want to be remembered as a puppet of the current regime, or should I do my job so that history records that this Chief Justice tried to do her best? And she chose to be on the side of being right rather than being a puppet. And that's a good thing. So I can answer that affirmatively. Yes, we can get justice through the judiciary. It is not perfect. We can improve it. We must improve it. But there is no judiciary in the world that is perfect. I practice in Canada. And there are racist judges who make decisions against black people, merely because they're black. But many people would think that that is a perfect society. It is not. No society is perfect. And no society will ever be perfect. But we can all work towards making them perfect. If actually leadership is not by sitting in office, but actually working for the people, what then happens to younger generation with aspiration of leadership? Will they lead while outside the office? Oh, because I said leadership is not being in office. No. Leadership is not being in office. And I'll give you a few examples. If money is all you are looking for in life, there are three professions I will say you should join. First, you can try to be a bank robber. Because they keep money in the bank. So you can go and help yourself. Two, you can sell illicit drugs. There is more money in cocaine selling than anything else in the world. So you can try to be like Escobar or Pablo Escobar or the rest. Very lucrative. Number three, you can own brothels and sell prostitutes. That can get you a lot of money. Number four, I'm serious here. Number four, you can become a crook of whatever shape or form. You're just a crook. You're selling anything and everything, or stealing anything and everything, land, whatnot, doing deals. Then you will make a lot of money. However, if your interest is pursuit of values, if you believe in values that are in the Constitution, the rule of law, democracy, human rights, fairness, integrity, good governance, then money should be an instrument you get in order to make you be transformative in whatever field you have chosen. Many of us have chosen the latter. This could include street protests. So I'm coming back to the question I was asked. Can justice be sought on the street? Yes, it can. And it normally is sought on the streets. In fact, if everything else fails, the street is the only place to seek justice. If everything else fails, that is the only way it was done when we were reintroducing multi-party democracy in this country. We forced Moi to repeal Section 2A by demonstrations. It was not done in boardrooms, and it was not done peacefully. But because everything else had failed, you heard about the Arab Spring that brought down governments in the Middle East and North Africa. It was on the streets. You've heard about the Orange Revolution in Ukraine and other countries. How was it done? It was done on the street. So yes, you can seek justice on the street if and when everything else fails. If courts do not give you justice because judges are compromised, or judges are threatened, or judges are bribed, then you can't go to court. There is no reason to go to court. If you can't seek justice legislatively because your members of parliament are picked or handpicked by party leaders and imposed, and then they go to parliament and all they do is take their benefits and salary and do not care about you, then you have to go to the street. But as I say, it is the ultimate final result when everything else has failed. Now, popular protests are entrenched in the Constitution of Kenya 2010. Everybody is allowed to protest peacefully without weapons. So as long as you do it peacefully without weapons, it is allowed. All right? Then you can go to court, as I say. That's another mechanism. And you can also write. You can also do petitions. You can also just agitate. You've seen these people that just stand in a Uhuru Park or wherever it is, Jivanji Gardens, with a megaphone, and they are talking. That's part of agitation. It's legitimate, it's allowed. You don't have to be a politician to be a leader. In fact, in Kenya, most politicians are not leaders. Because leadership is not about occupying public office. Leadership is about vision. Leadership is about the ability to guide, to advise, to be able to represent the aspirations of the people towards a higher goal. Meaning that in Kenya today, if you ask the question, what is it that most Kenyans aspire for? What is it? It's not money. I know many of you will say money. Money is not a value. Money is not a goal. Money is not an aspiration. Money is an instrument. In fact, a fiction, an economic fiction. Unfortunately, because people who work are not rich. The ones who are stealing are richer. The ones who are doing deals are richer. The ones who fail their exams are doing better than the ones who passed. Like last week they released the results, KCSE, right? You see the A's. I am not going to comment on whether or not the exams were leaked or not. But no matter what it was, we know, no matter what, that there are students who genuinely got A's. And you expect these genuine A's to go to good faculties at the universities, graduate and get good jobs, right? But is that the reality in Kenya? Most hardworking students, most brilliant students, most promising students, bright scholars, are unemployed. Many of them die very painful deaths. This is what we want to change. The democracy I'm describing, the ones I am saying you should foster in the 21st century, should ensure that these students get employed, get paid based on merit. If I didn't know what I was talking about, I wouldn't be here today. I looked at the environment in 2021, 2022, and I'm already locked outside the country. I analyzed these people. I looked at Ruto, I looked at Raila, I looked at Uhuru. I said, no. The only way I go back to Kenya, I defeat Uhuru and Raila together, then I will be back in the country. And we did. If I had not taken an active part in the political process, I believe they would have won. And I would have been locked out of Kenya for good. I would have died abroad without coming back to my country. So no matter how little you are, no matter the modest abilities you have, it all adds up. Secondly, when you are in exile, forced exile, not self-exile, there is a difference. I did not run into exile. I did not cross the Ugandan border or Tanzanian border or Somali border. I did not board a flight and say I've run away. I was forced out of this country twice. One of them while I was unconscious. Did I keep quiet?